Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel today with a special video because I finally received the print samples of my new book. It's called Understanding Calisthenics. It's already out now. You can already order the ebook version in English and German, and the printed German version will also be available soon. And in this video, I will take the chance to just go a bit in detail about the differences to the so-called calisthenics or gymnastics Bible, Overcoming Gravity, and just tell you a bit about what is similar, what is different, as this question came up, and clarify maybe for you which one is the better buying option or if you should get both, and just give you some insights. Okay, let's start with some hard facts about those two books. Let's start with Overcoming Gravity. I bought this is version 1 a while ago on Amazon for €39.99, and it comes with 475 pages. Our book is currently available also at exactly the same price for the English ebook. The printed version at the moment is a bit more expensive. It's $5 or €5 more, as we of course cannot produce as many pieces, so the price is a bit higher. But in the future, if we are selling a good amount of books, there is definitely the chance that we also can go a bit lower in price. So at the moment we sell this for $44.99 with the possibility to go a bit lower in the future, depending on how many of you are going to buy a book, because the more books you buy or with a printer, the cheaper they get. And you have 252 pages here. I think one of the main differences to talk about is the training background of each authors. So we have, with Overcoming Gravity, written by Stephen Lowe, an author and athlete that has all his background in gymnastics. And with everything you will read, how the importance of flexibility, of skill training, and all that stuff is set up, you can clearly see that he's coming from a gymnastics background. So I would put this really into the category of making gymnastics training more available for everyone. Whereas with Understanding Calisthenics, having my background, so coming from first regular gym training, so bodybuilding type of training, to regular skill calisthenics and weighted calisthenics, this book is screaming weighted and regular calisthenics with all its executions, with all its training concepts. So this is more towards the modern style of calisthenics that most of you know about. It's not using a lot of ring elements. It's not integrating a lot of flexibility work. It's really focusing more on the pure strength part of weighted calisthenics and skill training. So that is one of the main differences in the concepts of the books. Let's take a look at the topic selection then. Overcoming Gravity, at least from my perspective, feels like having a lexicon. So it covers a lot of topics, a big variety, but every discussed topic is just discussed on its surface. So it's not too in-depth with everything, which is also not possible if you're covering that many topics. So this book is a very, very good start to just get an overview of what's out there when it comes to calisthenics or gymnastics training. Understanding Calisthenics really just covers a smaller spectrum of training and a smaller spectrum of information in general, but every discussed topic is discussed really in depth. So when we're looking at the discussion of a dip, there is alone around 50 pages just about weighted dips, how to do them, why you should adjust your technique for which kind of execution. So are you going for 1 rep max style, how you do that. and so on and so on. So for every case, there is an explanation. There's a ton of assistance exercises for competitive athletes, and it really teaches you concepts to understand this movement. So if you've read Understanding Calisthenics, you become an expert in dips, pull-ups, and muscle up, because those 3 weighted calisthenics lifts are discussed in such a depth that you really get a comprehensive understanding of each detail of the execution and how you should do it with your own biomechanics, with your own body, because my muscle up look different than your muscle up. And why is that the case? Everything is discussed really in detail, whereas with Overcoming Gravity, you have more elements discussed and more variety also in training concepts discussed, but not in depth. So, talking about muscle up, here is a couple of pages just telling roughly how you do it, what progressions could be. Whereas here we get a detailed biomechanical explanation and a deep understanding of that movement itself. And that is overall the main difference. So whenever I talk about something, I try to really give you a detailed understanding, a detailed concept, and not just the information. And that limits, of course, the amount of elements, the amount of information that is covered. So Understanding Calisthenics is something that I would recommend to every athlete that is into weighted calisthenics, because it's the first ever book out there that is covering weighted calisthenics techniques, how to execute it, why you should execute it in a certain way. And this is also then, of course, the most comprehensive book, because it's the only one. But I don't think that there will be someone publishing a book that will come close to the amount of knowledge about weighted calisthenics that is in here. Same is true for skill training. I am covering way less skills than Overcoming Gravity does, because I just focus on the basic calisthenic skills with a planche, front lever, and the handstand push-up. It's those 3 and, the progressions that come to it with front lever pull-ups, planche, push-up, and all that stuff that belongs together to that. Just those are covered, but those are covered really in detail. And again, teaching you concepts, giving you a detailed understanding. So example, in Overcoming Gravity, you will read with a planche, you need to protract your scapula, you need to position your hips in that way. We start a whole bunch of steps earlier and will explain how gravity affects the body, how you need to position your body to resist gravity, in what position, and how does that really apply to the final element. So it's not saying, protract, it's telling you why a protraction can be useful. Is it maybe just a style question, or is it really something that is useful to benefit your health, to benefit stability? And so again, difference is way more topics covered, but I am, at least in my opinion, I'm covering it much more detailed. Then basically the only thing that I would really criticize in Overcoming Gravity, so I definitely still recommend buying it. It's a very comprehensive book, but the only thing I don't like is those animated executions here. Just giving you an example of a dip, how it looks like doing a dip here. And this style of dips is probably not suitable for 99% of athletes, not having this shoulder extension at all, or not that mobile at all. So something I would not recommend at all. If we're looking at handstand push-up executions, we're sometimes also not using the laws of physics. If we take a look at these negative phase of this handstand push-up, where we have the center of mass clearly behind the hands, so there is no chance that you can execute it like that, because you will just fall down. And so also when it comes to the planche execution, the text says protraction, the animation clearly has a retraction. If we take a look at just here, we can clearly see here that this picture has a slight bent arm. It has a clear retraction. So also here, it's super retracted. We're working with a hollow back. So there are a lot of errors with the execution, not in the text that Stephen wrote. So his explanations are correct, But the graphics, which most people will use because you will compare your own technique to the graphics, these are mostly wrong. And for me, it was very, very important to show everything on my own. And why was that important for me? Because I want to give you the feeling that I know what I'm talking about. Because if I can show stuff to you, it means that I can also perform it and I can do it. And there's a high chance that you should trust what I'm saying and trust my executions. So in my book, all of the executions are performed by me. And I try to make them as correct as possible and really showing you how it's done. And if I talk about a protraction, then on the picture there will be a protraction. And I will not define the laws of gravity new. If we take a look at the handstand push-up chapter, you will always see real-life examples. So we are really using here laws of physics and have the center of gravity over our center of mass and stuff like that. So it's of course and also a bit more personal, a bit more opinion based, but I think if you are really into weighted calisthenics and calisthenics skill training, and if you really want to understand how calisthenics movement works and why certain movements should look like they look or why they also don't, then definitely get Understanding Calisthenics. Of course, there's also some programming included. When we're talking about assistance exercises, you will also always find a bit of gym stuff, as that is my background. And yeah, I'm pretty proud to just show you this and show you how really in-depth this book is, and I can't wait to hear your opinion. So at the end, I think I said everything like kind of 5 times now, but I should definitely recommend to buy you both, because both books are very, very important, and there are a few things that both books cover that they also cover in the same way, but there's a big variety of knowledge that both books cover independently of each other. So you will miss out something if you just get my book or if you just get Overcoming Gravity. So I'd say, have a lot of fun reading.